Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and it's time for your weekly wrap-up, and I am blabbing at you a lot this week. I apologize for that, but I had a lot of things to talk about. I want to first, though, begin by thanking our latest Patreon supporters. We got a lot of them this week. David Napriella, Brendan McCleary, who upgraded his support of the channel, Duncan Cunningham, Vincent Matoro, Nick Silver, Matthew Canizio Jr., and we've got a few more here that donated via fan funding on a one-time contribution. That is Gary Chopoff and Harry Mayer. Harry gave through the tip jar on the Lon.TV store, and Gary gave through the fan funding link on the YouTube page. So thank you all for your continued support. It means a lot. We're slowly getting there. And I think we're going to have enough maybe to bring on some part-time help here in a couple of weeks. So I really appreciate you guys contributing. It's meaning a big difference here on the channel. And I think if we can get some part-time help, we'll be able to cover things in the detail that a lot of you would like to see. So stay tuned. We're going to be working diligently at that. And hopefully we'll be back in the basement very shortly. More on that when we get to the Q&A. So this week we had a bunch of stuff to look at, sort of. We looked at the Lenovo Y700 gaming desktop PC. I actually fit it on the table here. It's rather big. We saw the Sennheiser clip mic, which is a nice lavalier mic for the iPhone. We also took a look last night at the new Dell Inspiron 3000 series. That is Dell's $200 Windows computer. You can check out that review to see what it's all about. And then we got into the blabbing. I blabbed a little bit about the FameBit and Ring doorbell debacle. If you haven't seen that, definitely check it out because it really speaks to kind of what's been going on out there in the influencer marketing space. And I'm really worked up about this because I feel like there's just so much shady stuff going on that, the platform's at risk. Independent content creation's at risk when people don't take their responsibilities seriously enough, especially when it comes to informing consumers. So that is why you're going to see a lot more disclaimers on the channel moving forward. But I think it's important to bring at least some degree of sanity back to content creation here. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not doing this to be a goody two-shoes. I'm doing it actually to hopefully spur some change in other people doing similar things on YouTube. So we'll see what happens, but I'm just going to disclose a little bit more about how things come to the channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the video. It's very informative to say the least. I also spouted off a little bit about React World, which I'm sure everyone's heard about by now with the Fine brothers. So if you're curious how I feel about that, watch the video. I went on for about 15 minutes or so, and it felt good after I was done. And I also appeared on the YouTube Creators Hub podcast with Dusty Porter. Dusty runs a channel called Tech Guru 77, and he's got a pretty popular podcast where he brings on YouTube creators to talk about their channels, and that's what I did. I talked about what I've been learning, things that I would do differently. It was really cool. Actually a fun conversation. He has some really good questions, so definitely check that out in the master playlist, which is linked above, and you can also check out Dusty's channel, which I'll link as well in this video and down in the video description. He's got a lot of great content on his channel, so definitely check him out. Had a good time on his podcast. So we've got our latest edition of our brand new segment called Q&A, where I take some of your questions from last week and answer them this week. So let's see what we got here in the mailbag. The first question, actually it's two of them I'm combining together here. Insect Gaming, and I can't even pronounce what symbols those are there. So, but they're both making some comments about the channel and how it looks and everything else. And I'm well aware that I do need to improve the background here a little bit. So this was designed to be a temporary move in the home office. Many of you have never seen me in the old studio, which was down in my basement, where I had a bunch of retro stuff up. And I moved up here last year because it got so cold in my basement that I couldn't work there very well. So I moved up here to warm up a little bit, especially in the winter months here in Connecticut. But I am in the process of having somebody renovate my basement to kind of finish it, and we're going to have a nice, actual big area to produce content in. So I'm going to have a green screen area, probably a spot to have a sit-down interview thing, as well as a desk set up like I have here. But I'm going to get one of those IKEA standing desks so I can stand up or sit down or do whatever I feel like doing. So it's going to be really cool when it's done. So that will happen very shortly. I'm going to work on the lighting also. I'm going to bring in some professionals to help me light it a certain way. So it will look better. I'm going to work on some of the graphics and everything. I'm definitely going to be finishing up my end card very soon so that I can get more of the Patreon supporters fit in to the end credits in a meaningful way. But you should know that, really I'm not about doing a lot of flashy stuff on this channel. I like to show things how they look. Because I think there's some benefit to consumers to see whether or not that laptop is going to get greasy fingerprints all over it or not. And having things look like they really are, including the set that I'm in, I think actually adds value to this channel, and we're still seeing growth. So I'm really going to be very careful about how flashy and polished all this stuff is, because I'm really not flashy and polished myself. I just kind of do this and do it, and that's about it. So stay tuned, though. We are going to improve things a little bit, enough to make me feel a little bit better, and hopefully some of you might enjoy those as well, those changes as well. So a couple other things came in. Aviar Los Newby and Roger R.D. Wentworth III, they all want me to run for office or run for president. Tonight is the night of the Iowa caucuses, so I've kind of missed the boat on my party registration for the presidency, so I don't think I'm going to do this anytime soon. The Patreon is moving in a very good direction, but we need to bring in at least $1 billion to be competitive. I'm not joking. That's how much it costs to run for president these days, give or take. So I'll probably put that off for a little while, but I am the elected official actually in my hometown. If you didn't know this, I am on the Board of Education. I've been on for about 12 years now. I just got reelected to a third 6-year term, so I am kind of in office, just at a lower level, but trying to make a good impact here locally for our schools, which I really enjoy quite a bit. Also got some questions from Dan Gillen and Carlos Rodriguez about my production workflow. So Dan's wondering if I have a script that I work from, or do I do it mostly off the cuff, and how many takes do I do? And Carlos was asking me what's the biggest hassle when making or editing videos. And actually those two questions are related because I don't use a script. I have a teleprompter. I got one of these little teleprompters that screws onto the front of my camera, but I found when I tried using it that it just didn't feel natural to me. So I like to just get in front of the camera and talk, even during a product review. And a lot of times I'll screw up and I start over again. So what some people do is they do like a jump cut where they just kind of cut out the spot they didn't like and then just pick it up from where they restarted it again. But when I was in college, I had a professor who was really stringent on if you had a jump cut in anything, you not only like failed that particular exercise, he flunked you out completely. He was really adamant about jump cuts being very bad. So I've kind of kept that ingrained in my head. So I tend to shoot things out in segments, and sometimes it takes me, depending on how tired I am, it takes me a lot of takes sometimes to get exactly what I'm looking for. And what's funny too is I'm shooting these videos, I'm hearing it's really weird, you kind of like, I'm channeling all of you in my head because I hear things that I know I'll be asked if I don't cover them. And I got one on the Dell laptop where I didn't talk about what was inside of it physically, so we're going to do a follow-up on that Dell laptop. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm always thinking about as I'm doing these things. And so I probably would be a little bit more efficient if I scripted, but I think the videos would lose their life, if so to speak, if I did that. So no, I don't script it. I shoot over and over and over again until I get it exactly the way I want it to. And I often segmentize things also to make it a little bit saner for editing. So I actually do like editing quite a bit. Because I shoot live to disc from my TriCaster here, everything you see when I'm switching cameras is all as I'm doing it. So that really helps speed up the workflow a little bit. It's really kind of, there's my dog, by the way, is taking a stroll out of the room here. But I really, the thing that really gets me is when I'm finally done editing and I get the video prepared and I upload it, then I got to do all the SEO and all that stuff. That tends to wear on me a little bit, especially when it gets late at night. So that's probably the one area to answer Carlos's question. The biggest hassle is actually getting that up on YouTube and all the right descriptions and tags and everything. That really sometimes gets to be a little long for me, but I do enjoy hearing your comments once I do hit the publish button. So this next question comes from a very appropriately named viewer, Nigel Mack, and he was responding to my discussion about switching back to the Mac in 2006 in my last weekly wrap-up video. He wanted to know if it was because of those commercials with the two guys in it, the Mac versus PC guys. That was not a factor. Actually, it was the fact that they started putting Intel processors in the Mac so I could run Windows. So yes, I got back onto the Mac to run Windows, which doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense, but if you watch last week's video, the reason why I used the Mac, at least back at the time that I switched, was because of Keynote, their PowerPoint application. I'm still using it today, right now, as a matter of fact, which is driving our window here off my shoulder, and I really prefer Keynote to PowerPoint, and my audiences that see my presentations do apparently as well, so that was really a big factor in me getting a Mac again in the first place. The last Mac I had owned before 2006 or so was this one, which was my PowerBook 180C that I had when I was in my senior year of high school or my freshman year of college, and it fell apart after a very short period of time. The floppy drive went on at first, and then the whole case fell apart, and now it's still in my closet actually in 2 different pieces. It really was not very well built, didn't last very long, and it was kind of indicative of all of other Apple's problems in the mid-90s. Everything was just really garbage that they were coming up with. So that was part of why I switched away. But I switched back because I really like the Mac platform, especially for the work that I do. It works great for me. I still have Windows machines. I still run Windows quite a bit, both on my Mac and on my Windows computers. But for day-to-day stuff, I use the Mac, and that's what seems to work for me. I also wanted to bring up the Reddit thing. I am going to get this set up, and what I want is some volunteers to help me maintain it. I've got too many inboxes already. So I know a lot of you wrote in last week wanting a Reddit place for us to gather, which I'm all for. I just need some help moderating it. So email me at Lon@Lon.TV with whatever your Reddit handle is, and I will get you put into whatever system there is to moderate. If you abuse your moderation power, I will remove you from that post. So please be nice to your fellow Lon.TV community members. There probably won't be too many of us initially, but if you guys want a Reddit thing, I think we should do it. It'll be helpful to get ideas for new products and everything else. I do promise to look at it, but I do need some help moderating and whatever else you do on Reddit to make sure the community stays pure and fresh for everyone coming to visit at the Reddit site. So another thing that's coming up is I'm going to be going on to Vessel. I'm not leaving YouTube or anything, but I am going to start putting my content up on Vessel also because I need to have some diversity in where I put things, and I'm really excited to get on the platform. And I would like to hear from you as to whether or not you are looking at Vessel, and if so, what are the things that you like to watch on Vessel, because I am actually going to launch a non-computer tech related show on Vessel. My leaning at the moment is to do something related to the space program. As you all know, I'm a big space nut, and I've been meaning to do a show for a while. I don't think I can get enough audience on YouTube for it. So I want to try launching it on Vessel and be one of the only space shows on Vessel versus being one of many space shows on YouTube. But I wanted to hear from all of you. If you are on the Vessel platform, if you've ever even heard of it before, let me know what you think, because I am about to start putting a lot of content up there. And again, hopefully if I get some time, start developing like a bi-weekly, every other week space show about the latest developments in space, have it be exclusive to Vessel for probably a week or two, and then move it over to a new channel on YouTube also. But again, I just want to engage where you all are, because my initial viewership is going to depend on all of you watching me on Vessel. So that is part of why I wanted to ask you that question right now. So do let me know about that. So this week we've got some stuff coming up. The things that I promised last week, the little micro drone came in and I've been playing with it, and it, well, we'll see when you see the review. And I also hope to get to that Azul PC on a stick, which has the Ethernet port built in. I did all the testing on it already. I just need to actually get the thing reviewed. So that is coming up very shortly. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to help the channel, you can. You can go to Lon.TV/Patreon and make a monthly contribution to the channel like all those folks did at the beginning of the video. Right now, as I always say, I use those funds to help offset the cost of the things that I buy to review on the channel and then resell. Although I think at some point we're going to start using that fund to help pay for the help that we're going to hopefully bring in here on the channel. I do, again, have some plans to bring in somebody once I get the basement done. I met with him over the weekend. He's local. I think he's going to be great. He's going to help us out in a lot of different ways. So hopefully that will lead to more content as we put everything together. So we've got a couple things I got to get done first to get all that going. I've got to, believe me, there's a lot of stuff to do to get somebody hired, believe it or not. So I'm going to be dealing with all of that, but very soon we'll have some additional help on the channel. We also have YouTube fan funding at Lon.TV, where you can make a one-time contribution to the channel. And of course, you can go to Amazon, Lon.TV/Amazon, and everything you buy on Amazon after going through that link, you'll be able to help the channel a little bit. So your price doesn't go up, but I get a portion of that sale, and that is actually a growing portion of my monthly revenue here on the channel. So you can help the channel just by buying things you'd buy anyhow, just by clicking through Lon.TV/Amazon. So that's going to do it for this week. You can connect with the channel, of course, at Lon.TV/email, our Facebook page, Lon.TV/Facebook. I got to figure out what to do with all this stuff here. We also have the forums at Lon.TV/forums, and maybe next week we'll have Lon.TV/Reddit. So we'll just keep adding on new things as we go. But that's going to do it for this week's weekly wrap-up. Do give me some questions to answer next week in the comments below, and we'll see you next week. This is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by the generosity of my Patreon supporters. If you find the channel helpful, you too can contribute for as little as $1 a month. Visit Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more.